No audio.
Welcome, and thank you for being here. Please direct your attention to the disclosures before we proceed. We will get underway momentarily. Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're doing something a little different. I'm covering a company that honestly most people haven't heard of, and that's kind of the point. It's a small cap name, it flies way under the radar, and it sits at the intersection of two things everyone is obsessed with right now: AI and semiconductors. The company is called Silvaco Group, ticker SVCO, listed on the NASDAQ. Look, I want to be really clear up front. Nothing in this video is investment advice. This is pure research and education. We're not telling you to buy or sell anything. But if you're interested in understanding the semiconductor software world a little better and finding companies that could have serious potential over the next few years, stick around, because this one's genuinely interesting. Founded in 1984, headquartered in Santa Clara, California, literally in the heart of Silicon Valley. They've been doing this for over 40 years. Three core product pillars: TCAD, EDA, and SIP. Don't worry, we'll break all of that down. And they serve customers in over 130 countries globally. Let's get into it. All right, so what does this company actually make? Because on the surface, TCAD, EDA, SIP, these are acronyms that sound like alphabet soup, but once you understand them, you realize why this company is actually sitting on something really interesting. First, TCAD, Technology Computer Aided Design. This is Silvaco's oldest and deepest capability. Basically, TCAD software simulates how semiconductors behave at the physics level. We're talking atomic scale simulation. Instead of actually running physical experiments on wafers, which is insanely expensive, you simulate the physics in software first. This is foundational to how modern chips get built. And their flagship AI platform within TCAD is called FFTCO, Fab Technology Co-Optimization. We'll spend a lot of time on that in the next slide because it's kind of the crown jewel. Second, EDA, Electronic Design Automation. This is the tooling that chip designers use to actually draw, simulate, and verify circuits. Silvaco competes here with tools like Ivaro, which they claim can run post-layout SPICE circuit simulations 10 times faster than the competition at sign-off accuracy. Oh, and by the way, in early 2025, Silvaco actually acquired an optical proximity correction product line from Cadence, one of their biggest rivals. Kind of a big deal. It added lithography and mask generation capability to their EDA suite. Third, SIP, Semiconductor Intellectual Property. These are pre-verified, reusable circuit blocks that chip design teams drop into their SoCs instead of designing from scratch. And their big move here was acquiring Mixel in 2025, a company with industry-leading MyPE PHI IP. Silicon proven across 9 foundries and 12 process nodes from 180 nanometers all the way down to 5 nanometers. And it's already targeting mobile, automotive, VR, Arkansas, IoT, robotics, you name it. So you've got simulation software, design tools, and licensed IP, all under one roof. And that's actually more rare than it sounds. Okay, this is the slide I find most fascinating because this is where the real moat lives. Let's start with FTCO, Fab Technology Co-Optimization. So here's the problem it solves. Developing a single advanced semiconductor process node, like a 3 nanometer or 2 nanometer fab process, can cost over $1 billion. You're running hundreds of physical wafer experiments. Each one takes weeks. And if something goes wrong, you start over. It's brutal. What FTCO does is replace a huge portion of those physical wafer runs with AI-driven digital simulations. You build a digital twin of the fab. You test process changes in software at atomic level fidelity before you commit to anything physical. The savings for a big foundry? Potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. They secured their first FTCO customer and then their second, this one in Asia, in Q4 of 2025. The pipeline is growing and management is saying the time between initial engagement and actual revenue is shortening. That's a positive inflection sign. And here's the thing about the moat. Once a fab integrates FTCO into its process development workflow, the switching costs are enormous. You're not just switching software. You're abandoning years of calibrated simulation models, validated data sets, and embedded process knowledge. That data becomes the fab's competitive advantage. And it's all inside Silvaco's platform. That's a really sticky business. Beyond FTCO, there are 4 other moat pillars worth calling out. Number 1, 40 plus years of physics simulation data. You can't replicate that quickly, and it gets better with every customer run. Number 2, the 3-stack integration of TCAD, EDA, and SIP. Synopsys and Cadence are big, but neither of them has the same TCAD depth. Number 3, Mixcel's MyPPHY has patented innovations. 35% area reduction, 50% leakage cut, ISO 26262 certified for automotive. That's serious engineering. And number 4, FTCO is sitting right at the intersection of AI and semiconductor physics. As AI chips get more complex, demand for this kind of simulation only goes up. Alright, let's talk numbers and growth. Now look, I want to be upfront here. Silvaco is still a small company. FY 2023 revenue was around $54 million. FY 2024 came in at about $60 million. FY 2025 was $63 million. These are not huge numbers. But here's what's interesting. In Q3 of 2025, they posted record gross bookings of $22.8 million. That's 131% year-over-year growth. Revenue grew 70% year-over-year that same quarter. Those are not small company growth rates. Something is clearly changing in the business. Looking forward, and again, these are estimates, not guarantees, if FTCO continues to ramp, if the IP business keeps growing, and if their cost restructuring plays out the way management is targeting, you could be looking at revenue approaching $73 million in 2026, potentially $89 million in 2027, and north of $110 million by 2028. There are 6 key catalysts driving this. First, FTCO customer additions. Each deal is multi-year, high average selling price, and extremely sticky. Second, the IP business, which is already about 30% of revenue and growing fast. Mixel's MyPi Pro line is production ready and being sold through Silvaco's entire global sales force. Third, TCAD contract renewals. 2025 was soft, 2026 is expected to recover. Fourth, a $20 million annualized cost reduction program is already underway. $14 million of that is already executed. That's margin expansion running alongside revenue growth. Fifth, EEDA, specifically Jivaro, is showing real enterprise adoption with what management called at least one major company now using it. And sixth, the macro tailwind. Every new generation of AI accelerator chip requires more simulation, more verification work, and more IP. Silvaco's tools become more valuable as chip complexity increases. Okay, so we've painted a pretty optimistic picture so far, but let's be honest about the other side of the coin, because there are real challenges here and you need to know them. On the strength side, the 3-stack integration is genuinely unique. No one else has TCAD plus EDA plus SIP with this depth. FTCO is category defining. Mixel MyPi PHI is battle tested. Gross margins are 79 to 85%. That's software economics with hardware level defensibility. They added 46 new customers in 2024 alone. And their CEO, Walden Rines, who came in more recently, is the former CEO of Mentor Graphics, one of the original EDA companies. He knows this industry cold. Now the risks, and I want to be straight with you here. Silvaco is still unprofitable. They're burning cash. The FTCO revenue ramp has been slower than initially hoped. These are long enterprise sales cycles. We're talking about convincing billion-dollar fabs to change how they develop process technology. That's not a quick sale. They're also competing against Synopsys, which is a $55 billion company, and Cadence, which is $70 billion. Those guys have R&D budgets that dwarf Silvaco's entire revenue. There's also customer concentration risk, integration risk from 3 acquisitions in 1 year, and GAAP profitability is not imminent. On the competitive landscape, Synopsys is the 800-pound gorilla in EDA, but they've been divesting their IP segment, and they don't have TCAD at Silvaco's depth. Cadence is similarly strong in EDA, but also lacks deep TCAD. And interestingly, they sold their OPC product line to Silvaco, which is kind of a validation of Silvaco's niche. Ansys is more mechanical engineering simulation, not really a direct TCAD semiconductor competitor. The Silvaco advantage here is real. They serve a segment that neither of the big two can fully address. So this is the question I find most interesting. Is Silvaco a buyout candidate? And honestly, I think the answer is yes for a few reasons. They occupy a very rare niche. If you're a big EDA player or a major semiconductor equipment company and you want AI driven process development capability, you essentially have two choices. Spend 5 to 10 years and hundreds of millions of dollars trying to build what Silvaco already has, or just buy them. Let me run through the most logical acquirers. Synopsys is probably the most obvious. They lost the NC's acquisition and they need to complete their simulation stack. FTCO fills a massive hole for them. Cadence already knows Silvaco's products. They literally sold them a product line. Acquiring Silvaco would give Cadence TCAD leadership it currently doesn't have. ARM Holdings is interesting. They're expanding beyond chip IP into the broader EDA ecosystem, and Silvaco's CIP plus EDA combination would fit that strategy. Applied Materials, the world's largest semiconductor equipment maker, could use FTCO to add AI-driven process intelligence as a software layer on top of their hardware. And ASML, the lithography monopoly, is already deep into computational modeling. Silvaco's OPC and FTCO capabilities would extend that moat significantly. So, to wrap this whole thing up, here's the big picture. Silvaco is a small company, $60 to $70 million in revenue, that sits at the intersection of AI and advanced semiconductor manufacturing. Most retail investors have never heard of it. The institutional ownership is still light. The FTCO platform is genuinely category defining. The IP business is inflecting hard, and the cost restructuring is improving the path to profitability. What to watch? The pace of FTCO customer additions, whether the IP business continues growing at this rate, cash burn versus revenue trajectory, and how well 2025 acquisitions get integrated, and the potential upside over 3 to 5 years. If FTCO scales to even 5 to 10 customers and the IP business doubles from here, the revenue multiple re-rating story gets very interesting. As always, do your own due diligence, talk to a financial advisor, and remember this is for research purposes only. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one.